Okay, so I'm gonna try and do like quick bod review of this for you. I'm only in diamond, so take it with a grain of salt. But I basically one trick phara to diamond, so I might be able to help some. It's gonna be super scuffed bod review though. So as far as team comp, usually it doesn't really matter. Even in diamond, a lot of times it doesn't make a big difference. So phara's kind of tricky on this map, just because like the skybox is really low in most places. Okay, so for right here, let's see if I can come back to. So this is a really good spot. Like you can see up in this corner, you can get good damage through them, and you're really safe because of that platform. So I watched some of this before now. So your aim fighting other pharas is really good, but when they have pharmacy like this, sometimes it's a lot harder. Because this is like almost a full clip that it didn't like the damage didn't lead to anything. Because you're at 5 ammo. Shot in the mercy was good. Yeah. Like that was a lot of time that you could have been getting value from your damage on other targets. So there are other points throughout this where your opportunity to kill the phara is a lot more present, and at that point it's definitely fine to shoot at her. But at a spot like this, that damage could be a lot more valuable when it goes into helping your teammates kill people. Because like even if you kill the phara, that value is the same as if you help your teammate kill someone else. And then also this isn't like this is because you're fighting the phara right here. Your rotation, you move away from your cover, like this area, which is fine because you're fighting the phara. But at this point, when you're out in the open like this, you need to start looking for cover. Like right here, there's like right back here behind your portrait, there's the like indent to the health pack, and like I mean, I guess it makes easier shots for the phara, but also the middle cover here, because there's the rest of their team is over here, and they're gonna start trying to shoot you. So you need to try and put something between you and the enemies that doesn't really interfere with, that doesn't make you easier to die to the phara. So this right here would have been a good thing to play through, but this is kind of tricky to get these rotations in. Like that was kind of just unlucky that the McCree was there. So this is, if you look at where you are, let me see if I can get, okay. So their phara can see you, their Hammond can see you, their Mei can see you, their Ryan can see you, their Zarya can see you, and you have very little cover, which is, it's good that because your cover's right here, so you're right next to it, it's easy to get back to, but if you were on the other side of this, you would still be able to see their phara and their Hammond, which is enough people for you to shoot at and help your team, and the value you're getting is the same, but you're exposing yourself to a lot less threats from the enemy. Yeah, like right here. Yeah, you go back. That's amazing.
Your pride is low.
That's just unlucky.
Team needs me.
My boy.
Can we do anything with the mercy?
Nice.
Yeah, this is a fine time to be going for the phara because you know she's one shot, and there's not like bump enemies that are gonna be super easy to get. Yeah, see, that's.
There.
Right in, let's. Yeah, this fight was played really good.
Good job, guys. Come up with me. Come up with me. Why are you sitting there?
Unlucky the shield blocked that. I understand, like, what the point was, because, like, obviously that's a really big shatter. But if you see the shield is here, the only person that can really shoot people on, like, your Earth Shattered teammates is Reinhardt, and you could also just, like, because you still have your Brig fighting him, so he's probably gonna die before he gets value out of it. So it's the slight chance of him killing these people, especially after you already have 2 picks, isn't worth your ultimate. Especially because they have a pharmacy, which means you have to keep in mind that when they have the pharmacy, every time you ult, it's a free kill for their phara if she's around, which obviously you had no way of knowing she was right there. But it's just another thing to be careful of. Like, if you don't know where she is, just be aware that she could
There's there. Their Hanzo's gotta have all.
Rendezvous at my
Not
position.
Hanzo. Phara has all.
They're going behind.
This is good, using this.
Behind.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is really good aim on the phara, but right. Let's see. Alright. Right here, when she got the beat drop, she's also getting phara healed. So by the time the beat goes away, she'll be back to full health. So at this point, you could be damaging people on the ground and getting rid of their beat drop armor shield faster. So this is kind of like wasting time and ammo. Yeah, and now you're back on her, which is like okay. So when you come right here, she's still like this is still a fine opportunity because like she's close enough that you can reliably hit her. But at this point, like the distance between you is a lot higher, so the odds of her dodging your shot is bigger. Plus, she has the mercy heal, so at this point is when you should just switch targets to, like, you can boop away Hammond, you can shoot over here at him, although your teammate just died. And at this point, you kind of lost the fight. Like, I would be shooting right here, because you see, you get Ryan, you get Lucio, and maybe Mercy, depending on how far she is, and you're helping out your Orisa. But you kind of already lost that fight, like not through any problem of your own.
I could give it a go. I ran that beat watch. Whatever.
See, like this is a good spot because like because phara shoots down single line chokes. So right here you have like your cover right here, so you're in a safe spot and still getting value. So this is a good spot.
I feel like I'm a better risk, but it's what we need on the video.
This flank is fine.
Walk up. I've almost free right.
If you were planning on doing this, it would have been a better time to do this while your team was still getting ready to fight, because you kind of like you stuck with your team during the poke phase and then switch to high ground or switch to your flank. So like so it didn't happen this time, but a lot of times if you wait this long to go on your flank, your team's going to start to engage at a 5v6 and they're going to lose before you get into your flank position. Which is like that's your teammates' problem. Like they should be waiting for you. But it's gold solo queue, so they probably won't. So it's just kind of playing around. This is good. So right here, this is kind of like you need to. They didn't really punish you for it this time, but like you kind of need to assume that they all know where you are. So you should be at this point after you kill the Hanzo, you should be expecting Hammond to turn around and start shooting. You should be expecting Phara to turn around. So going in close like this does increase your value, but at the same time, it's an extremely high risk of death, which would undo the pick you just got. Um, and you could be shooting into this from farther away too and be safer. Yeah.
Mercy down.
This is good. Running away from far, trying to knock it in.
Taking
Alright,
objective.
don't get this up.
Support requested.
Barry, don't die on her. Just stay alive.
That should have
Clearing the
hit.
area.
Solo.
Unlucky.
Alright, Mercy's with fair.
Clearing the area.
Okay, so right here you have the pharmacy is like kind of distracted, but the Hammond's shooting you. So this is fine, especially because you're getting the picks. But just be aware that their attention is on you right now. So you need to get rid of it as soon as
Back up,
possible.
swing,
Which
swing.
in this case, your way of getting rid of that is to just kill them.
Alright, back.
Fair down.
But yeah, see the
Hammond's
Hammond
up.
back.
No.
So it's just kind of being aware that you have their attention and they're gonna try and kill you, and being ready to back out when you need to. That's mega unlucky. You did more than your
How did
push.
these guys die that?
Hammer down and then the
Close, but I don't think I can make it.
Touch you, touch you, touch.
Fire at will. Justice reigns from above.
Okay, so right here, it's kind of unlucky she got slept, but so when you're picking people to shoot, people who are standing still, like Bastions in turret mode, Phars when they ult, McCree's when they ult, they're stuck still, and it's really easy to kill them because you can two-shot them. So you probably right here,
Fire at will.
right here, you could probably put 2 shots into phara, kill her, and then barrage them anyways. Which, like, this is a really good barrage, but if you had killed their phara first, then at this point your team already died, so you still probably would have lost the fight anyways, but it would have been more unlucky.
No, I was getting focused by Hammond.
Let me go.
Pharmacy again.
Okay, so one thing you can do here is for your rollout, if you don't use concussion, you just boost up on this part, you'll have it to look at the
Go left side, left side.
railing over here. And I mean, yeah, they went left side, so it doesn't matter. So for this part, you'll probably win this duel with the phara, but in the time it takes you to win this, your team could very well lose their fight. So you would probably be getting more value if instead of being right side fighting them, you were back over like by the left side of this building, shooting down a choke. Let's see if you can get a better
No bubble.
get. Let's see if I can come back. Yeah, down here. So you know their team is coming through white room back here. So if you were to sit up by this first row of lights over here on the building, you would be able to see every choke they have to come through, and you would get boop opportunities, and your value would probably be bigger than the value you would get from winning the 1v1 of this far. Which kind of unlucky you don't actually win it.
No bubble, no bubble. 6 seconds.
bad.
5, 4.
Back in
Thank you
action.
for bubble. I was quite
That's
scared.
really good. Ferris? I don't know why they didn't run pharmacy.
Yeah, I mean, that was our thing.
Don't get booped. Don't get booped by Gideon. Or by what's his name.
Okay, so at this point, you know they now have an Ana, I think that's an Ana, and a McCree. Which means you're really close to being able to be one-shot. So you need to make sure you play really tight corners, which you're doing, which is good. Looking for the boop, good. I'm assuming that was
I got
actually
you.
to go
Swing,
over
keep swinging,
this.
keep swinging on him.
yeah, at this point you've already lost the fight. You'll probably die before you even get there to contest, so just kind of building all, which is what you're doing.
Just a scratch, you'll be fine.
Wait, aren't you?
You look
stuff like
tired.
Have farm damage.
no, let's get
I got Lucio boost off.
Yes, my ultimate is charging.
I have grab.
Actually, hold on. This is a really small
No, let's
thing,
get
but
I got Lucio boost off.
this concussion. So there's 3 uses for concussion. There's obviously getting kills with it, like knocking people off, which this is too far of a distance, especially with this wall here, to actually do that. Moving yourself, which this is not moving yourself, and then putting enemy people out of position, which if this had landed, it would have pushed the Reinhardt up to here. He still would have been at the choke with his shield, so he wouldn't have been out of position. It might have pushed their Ana back here, who still would not have been out of position. So it's kind
My
of a waste of
ultimate is
concussion,
charging.
I have
which
grab.
isn't a big thing because you'll get it back before you need it again. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Right here you probably could have pushed him off. Kill him anyway, so it doesn't really matter. This is good playing around here. Good cover. That was, let's see, that was actually really good. High noon, good guess, push him off. Like perfect. It's unlucky he didn't go off and unlucky you died. That was
No more
quite
off.
good.
Lucio?
Give me some point, some point.
Taking the objective. Get back.
I'm assuming that was trying to boot the Ryan who was there. You're probably... So especially because they're rotating, like if you saw the Reinhardt started to go left, if you see them rotating like that, it's probably better to save your concussion for a easier boop to get. And I wish I could play on 47.
My
feet.
ultimate
Do
is
it.
almost ready.
So, looks like they're going the other way.
They're coming left.
Yeah, like right there. This spot is actually really
Ultimate
good.
is almost ready.
So, looks like they're going the other way.
Something you can do between fights to make this easier is to break these railings. But this whole wall is
They're coming
really
left.
good. So if they rotate left, if you sit there and you can move okay, so this is I don't know if their whole team is going back here. So this is, you got cover up here, you got your Rhine shield, so this is a good spot, this is fine. But if you want to get more value, you could be setting up a crossfire on left side. Because you can shoot through either this hallway right here has windows at the top, you can shoot through there, or just shoot through the doorway at their back line if they tunnel into that area. So if they all commit inside behind the Rhine, you can get a ton of damage back there if you're set up over here.
Get ready for grab.
Rendezvous at my position.
Right. Get ready for follow-up.
If they push through, you can grab barrage from up here.
Will
Yeah. Okay. So this was just a reaction to grab, but the thing is you don't really know where the grab is. So if you hear the grab and you know you want to barrage it, there's 2 things you should always do first. One, you should make sure you know where it is so that you can set yourself, so that you can put yourself in a spot where you can get value out of it, and not be hitting a wall and killing yourself. And 2, make sure it's actually needed, because if this was, you killed the Ana, so it was more than just Genji. But if it was like just Genji or even Genji and Ana, there's no point in barraging if it's like squishies, because you can just shoot them with rockets. It looks to, okay, so I'm gonna assume these people were in the grab, so I think if you had backed out a little from the wall first, you could have barraged and gotten even more value. And sometimes you just need to accept death when you barrage, because if you can trade for like 3 or 4 kills in a grab with your barrage, that's good. But like you're stuck in a cast animation for the whole thing and no cans. You kind of gotta accept your death sometimes.
Nano boost administered. My strength unleashed.
This is good. Get this retreat. I would have saved concussion because he was too far away to actually get put back. And I guess you're trying to mess up his aim, but at the same time you're kind of messing up your own aim because now you have to reacquire. You kill him anyways. So it doesn't really matter. And you could have had concussion here, maybe look for something.
I'm dead. I need
Get
saving.
With the Ryan. You should have moved the Ryan. You could have shot it right here at the mini and probably pushed him off. And again, make sure you try and break those railings because they're going to stop your moves. Okay. Good value you're getting.
Ryan, don't be afraid to shatter.
Good. Nice.
This would have.
Yep, that was done pretty well. So it kind of seems like a lot of like trying to force a value, like you're trying to capitalize on an opportunity before it hits its peak of opportunityness, if that makes sense. Yep, this is good. Great job. I'm assuming you realize you're getting hit by the crew, so you drop. That's
I have
good.
bubble for you, Ryan. Swim on there, Ryan. Go. No, Ryan's dead. We can kill their Ryan. We're gonna kill their Ryan.
Alright, so this, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get a different angle of attack, get more value.
No, Ryan's dead. We can
It's good in theory, except two things. One, your team just died and ran away, which is super unlucky. That's completely their problem.
kill their Ryan.
But two, see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that could just turn around and shoot you. So, like, yes, you have cover you can kind of get behind, but they can. This is close enough to them; they can walk around it. So when you're doing this, there's a couple options you can do. One, you cannot commit so hard, and you can stay more over in this area closer to where you were, and just be higher that you can shoot down from the Rhine shield, like over it. Or you could be back on this high ground ledge behind you. That way, you have those walls you can just stay into.
Kill their Ryan.
And especially at this point, once you notice they turn around and shoot you, it's probably too late. But yeah, like you're playing behind the cover, which is good, and this definitely increases your survivability. But there's no way out of the engagement. Like at some point, you have to go back through the open in his line of sight. It's like this is really good for mid fight if you have a way out. So like you have concussion again, which can be your way out. So you can concussion back over here and grab the health back, and he kind of walks away. Probably could have killed you. I'm actually really surprised he lived through that. Also, playing around here can be good, especially like because there's cover up in these corners.
Ryan, we're not with.
These windows are good. Good line.
Ryan, you're by yourself.
Get good. Yeah, this is good spot to play in. I think your fuel is about here. You still probably could have stayed over it. I mean, you didn't know he was there, and it takes time to go back up. But like, yeah.
Lucio.
That was just like super thing. So this is kind of like, so basically, this is a really messy fight. Everyone can see everything. So you're kind of, alright, so this is like, everyone is everywhere, so the rest of your team is being a big distraction, so they're kind of acting like your cover, but like you're super out in the open, so when they decide they want to start shooting you, like you don't have anywhere to go. And what's good about phara is like you can go over walls that usually make routes longer, so you could have easily stayed. Let's see if I can get it turned on. You could have, like right here, you could have went up and you could have shot through those windows, and it still would have given you like easy ways to get out of fire, and the value you're getting is going to be really similar. Or playing over here by this door on the right and by the window, especially that window, the value you're getting is practically identical, but you're in a lot easier to get out of that situation. You should have held that longer. You probably, you can already do this.
Save all. They use everything.
Also, it gives you a spot, like if you need to land, you land and there's a wall covering you.
We just use it all.
I have my shadows in this, but yeah.
I will not
I'm
fail
coming
again.
back.
Okay. So you see you're hitting a bunch of people, the Rhine's backing into you, you're getting good cut. There wasn't a reason for you to drop. Like you have concussion back, so you can stay up, and even if say you didn't have these, you could just land it here and stood in this corner on the left inside that doorway while your fuel recharges. Especially because your teams are engaging now, which is when your damage is needed the most.
They're right. We're gonna kill the right. I'm grabbing. Oh.
Alright. You're lucky he was reloading. So, barraging.
I'm grabbing.
Barraging from this height up here can be good because it keeps you safer from a lot of things. Like the Moira can't really do much. The Reinhardt, if he doesn't have Fire Strike, can't do a lot. Their Doomfist can't do a lot too, so it makes you safer. But they have a McCree, so that safety is kind of nullified. So, especially if you're barraging hit scans, what you can do is the closer you are, the easier it is for you to kill them, provided they don't. Like if they're watching you the whole way you come towards them and shooting at you, then obviously not. But like in this spot, if you just dropped sooner, you could have been a lot closer to the McCree and killed him. Like at a better McCree. I mean, maybe even he would have, but he was reloading, and they had the hand. So like, if you had dropped more, you might have killed the Moira, and your risk of death from the crew would have been a lot lower. And you probably would have been able to turn around and see the grav and shoot at the grav, and that would have been the grav plus a kill plus maybe a kill on the Moira, and yeah, you probably would have died, but like that's trading for a bunch of kills, which is sometimes what you just need to do with barrage.
Human's low.
Clearing the area.
Cam's got a boot with it. Don't go out.
Yep, this is fine. It's clean up. It doesn't really matter where you are. This is actually really good value you can get in here because you have this cover over like from this building you can play on when you're in the air, and you can drop to here and you're safe, and you're right next back to your team if you need to go to the point.
Come with me.
Especially if you can get up high enough that you can shoot down past the Rhine shield, like back in here. You get damage on the squishies. super valuable. There wasn't anything really threatening you because you didn't really have the backup.
Alright, play kill, Red.
Yeah,
Come
back
back,
here,
come
get
back,
good
come back.
value. This is good. Just watch the McCree.
If you wanna
So for the McCree, he can't
play
one
kill,
shot you.
kill Red.
So
Come back,
and
come back.
he's missing a lot of shots anyways.
I'm 100.
So you could, instead of trying to kill the McCree, you could keep putting damage onto what your team is fighting, which would be like the Rhine Zarya kind of thing. At least I think they had a Zarya. Oh, the Rhine Hammond. Like still just shooting at this and whatever's right there. And then once the McCree starts hitting you, you can like back behind the corner and you can concussion yourself out. Like obviously if he gets like super close like this, then you can try to find
Alright, play kill, play
But like right here, shooting at this is going to be a lot more valuable than shooting at this.
kill Red. Come back, come back, come back. I'm 100 charge. If you wanna nano me here,
We're
you
in a
can.
good
I'll try
spot,
to grab that.
but like you were shooting. You could be getting more valuable. This, I don't know if you were trying to push yourself out here, but this would have been the right thing to do. So you can shoot through this or through this. You can even come back here and have the mini back behind you here or over there. Doesn't seem to be making a big difference. Kind of just cleaning up. No one's really focusing.
I've grabbed.
But it would have been a safer spot just in case.
Dupus is still there.
It's down.
Clearing the
Nice.
area.
We're good. Play chill. We're gonna camp point.
You can see through right here. You could probably be over this and shooting down at it. Where they're trying to push through. Actually, another thing you can do when they're pushing out there, you could play down here by this sign, and you can use this corner of the building as your cover, and you can see more of their backline through here, and more of them as they try and push through this corner. The only thing you need to be careful of is, like if their McCree or Hammond tries to come here and contest you, which is one, you need to see that coming, and before that contest happens, you need to either be back here at the health pack if you need it, or concussion yourself back behind this wall and back to point. So you just need to be, like it's a lot more aggressive position, but you get more value, but you need to make sure you keep your cooldowns to get yourself out
Barry, get
of
all
danger
here.
before the danger gets there.
Oh, we have combo.
It's like, imagine if these shots were like phasing through the Reinhardt shield and hitting the Rhine. It would be hitting the Rhine, it would be hitting the Hammond, the Lucio, and the McCree. So one, you're gonna get your ult faster, which you basically have already, so that doesn't really matter. But the chance of you getting a pick is a lot higher. Plus, you're draining resources from the enemy, and you're pressuring them and making it
Stay
easier.
hidden, alright? Stay alive there.
Especially because they have a Moira. If you can get enough damage that she's out of heals when the fight
Alright, you can
starts,
go. 5 buttons for you.
you basically got the kill.
Oh shit, maybe not. Our brain's dead. Our brain's
This
dead.
is it looks like you were going for the barrage here.
Get here.
Alright, you can go. 5 buttons for you.
So right here, you see the Moira's distracted, the McCree is right here. So if
Oh
you
shit,
dropped,
maybe not.
you barraged here, you would have gotten all three of them, and then maybe
Our brain's dead.
anything in your Prometheus resources,
Rendezvous
which
at
I
my
think you're
position.
still
get ready
doing.
for
But yeah, like yeah, you might have died to a Hammond that came through, or the Rhine could have fire striked you. But at that point, you would have had enough value that it doesn't matter if you died. You're just gonna get heads anyways.
Good job.
Okay. Okay. So if this was last fight, I would be like yeah, totally go for this. But you're still gonna have one fight left, and it's gonna be a rush fight, which means they're not even gonna be paying attention to you if you're waiting over like their first
Good
kill.
job.
Unlucky that he was there, but you could have killed the Moira without barrage and probably
Go, go, go.
so
Rhine's
you
low,
used
Rhine's low.
use barrage when you didn't,
We don't have any healers? No?
which is
Oh, shoot, touch point.
My team needs me. Clearing
Way
the
back.
area.
So like you can see they're rushing through here. So if you had barrage and you hadn't died earlier, you could have been up here like by these signs above that doorway, waiting for them.
That's a good one. Right bubble in 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
My ultimate is charged.
Okay.
Right
So right
bubble
here,
in
you should
4
have known
seconds.
they're pushing up here, so you need to start rotating back to safety, which means probably the wall behind you. So you're getting closer to kill the Moira, which like once she has fade, but even if she didn't, and you like your risk of death here is a lot higher than it's worth the value of killing them
2, 1.
because you're probably gonna die here, and there's a decent chance you don't kill them. Because she fades like that. They should have killed you. You could have been back by this wall, so you could like duck down and get the mega, and you can even come back. Because like walls like that mean almost nothing to phara. Because you can just jump over them. That's a good spot.
Work at my position.
And right here, this is cleanup, and they're coming through here, so being on point right now is kind of okay, because they're still trying to push through the choke onto point, and you've already got picks, so it's more of a cleanup kind of thing.
Oh, I tried. Nice.
Hello.
Great job, guys. Thank you for walking through that, Zarya.
So yeah, I definitely think there's times where you could be getting more value by focusing on what your team is focusing instead of focusing on like one individual person, because like so you're like it's taking advantage of splash damage, right? Like you want your rockets are splash damage, so you want them hitting as many people as possible. So if you focus like what your team is trying to shoot at, the value you're gonna get is gonna be a lot higher than if you're trying to if you're shooting at one person trying to make them go away. Like obviously if the opportunity to kill them is like a really easy to capitalize on opportunity, and like they're giving you the kill, then go for it. That's fine to get picks. But like I think you underestimate the value of helping your team do damage, like just pure damage. And then barrages, like think whether or not you actually need the barrage to do what you're trying to do. Because there's a couple times where you could have just shot instead of barraging and been fine. And then your cover utilization was pretty good for the most part. There's a couple times when the fight got kind of hectic that you ended up like going to the middle of the fight, like above them, which is like, yeah, you're probably getting a little more value, but you could be getting almost the same value from a lot safer spot. So it's kind of like rotating mid-fight, changing everyone. And I don't know how I got like that. That was, I guess he grabbed him and got to kill his yeah, so those are the biggest things I would say.